Hello. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Wonderful to see all of you here this afternoon. We are in for a treat as usual with another terrific lecture with Chef Shannon Bush. Get started in just a minute. My usual reminders, if you haven't had a chance already, make sure that you turn off your cell phone or put it on silent. I also wanted to remind everyone that all of the programming we do here at the library is funded through our nonprofit foundation, the Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory Foundation. So while this building is part of the city government and, our salaries and the utilities that get paid and all of that kind of stuff, the programming and all of the books that we purchase, so not just the program, but all of the books, all that funding comes through our nonprofit foundation. And so we have to raise all that money. And so if that's something that you're interested in supporting, it's really easy to do. You can easily donate online. We also offer sponsorships, and I'm very happy and thankful for a sponsorship of this series and wanted to specifically thank Gerald and Lori Ernst for sponsoring Chef Shannon. They've been terrific supporters the last few years of a lot of our programming, and we're very lucky to have them. So. And speaking of programming, we are in the midst of our season now, and we have got stuff going on all of the time. We had a terrific concert last night with Coachella Valley Classical Voices. We have a concert next Wednesday evening, which is going to be a very special Dia de los Muertos event. So we'll have family activities going on before the concert, and then at 7 p.m., Jarabe Mexicano. They were here last year, and they're really, really great, and it's a really special event. We have a very cool environment in here, celebrating the remembrance of loved ones, and but it's a very happy celebratory event. So I hope you can join us for that, and so much more. So if you haven't already, make sure you check out our program guide in the back of the room. Also, one more thing, there were some questions about the recipes. So you can always pick up the printed recipes when you come in. And if you want a digital copy of that or you can't make it, just send an email to programming@ranchomiragelibrary.org, and we'll be happy to send you out a copy. That's probably the quickest and the easiest way that we can get it to you. If that changes and we ever have them permanently posted, we've talked about doing that, and we're looking into a good way to do that. We will let everybody know. So. But without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our plant-based chef who has done a tremendous job over the years here. She has had great background in all kinds of things in the kitchen, and also is now an author and offers travel trips to Japan and elsewhere, and is just one of the coolest people I know. So please help me welcome up here Chef Shannon Bush.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, TJ. One of the coolest people he knows. That's a big compliment. Made my day. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I see familiar faces, but maybe also some new faces. A couple of new people. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. I encourage you, if you're new, if you have a question, raise your hand or speak up. If you have a question, chances are someone else has the same question. So don't be shy. I'll do my best to repeat them for the audio, but that's how it goes. I'm going to start today with some soup. I figured fall is here. It's time to start making something warm and cozy again. I don't think I've had anything hot for the last several months, but I'm getting ready now. This soup is a recipe I made up during the pandemic. And I try to never repeat recipes that I do here, because if you come to all the classes, I don't ever want you to get bored or, think that I've run out of recipes, because that'll never happen, trust me. But during the pandemic, I think it was fall of 2020, we filmed a class in here and then broadcast it on the library's YouTube channel. And it was very strange and very lonely, because I was in here in a mostly empty room. It's very, very odd. So I'm glad to have you all here. But this soup, when I made it at that class, it didn't have a name. I was calling it bean soup or something, and that name's been used before. But one of the library staff, his name is David, suggested a great name for it, and this mystery soup became Holy Frijoles soup. So it's super easy to put together. It's very fast. And in most cases, most households, you may already have everything in the pantry that you need for this soup. You can make it thicker, you can make it thinner. It's just super fast and easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with it. Just gonna put a little bit of avocado oil in my pot. And some chopped onion. And I don't have a giant soup pot that works on this induction cooktop, so I cut the recipe in half. So if you see me adding less than you think that I should, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Oops, found a little more in here. So the fun part about this soup is what you use for garnish. So many options, and you can do it different every time. So a lot of people, there's a bad rumor out there that says a good, flavorful homemade soup takes hours to develop the flavor. And I say, not really. One of the easiest shortcuts I know for just infusing your soup with lots of great flavor is when you're browning whatever vegetables you may be using before you add the liquid, you want to cook the veggies until there starts to be, till a brown layer develops on the bottom of your pan. And not talking about burning, but if you watch it closely and get to that point where you have a nice brown coating on the bottom of the pan, at that point we'll add the liquid, and that brown cooked stuff on the bottom of the pan is going to break up and infuse your soup with amazing flavor. So trust me, but don't distract me and let me burn this today, please. And I don't ever put my garlic, I'm going to add some garlic now. I don't ever put it in at the same time as the onions because the garlic really cooks a lot more quickly. This is an exciting day. I also have a show and tell, a little gadget I brought from Japan last May. Okay, we're getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic now because my onions are mostly cooked at this point. Yeah, this is a great garlic press because you don't have to take the husk off of the garlic. This I've actually had since like the 90s from the Pampered Chef. And I remember that company. And I've heard that they're actually still, I think I had a student that ordered one online after one of the classes. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I've never found another garlic press where you didn't have to peel it first. Hope you guys like the smell of onions and garlic. Oh, see that? Starting to brown. Fantastic. So now I'm going to add some of my water. And all of that brown stuff on the bottom of the pan is going to release. If you're into French cooking, there's a French word for that technique. Does anybody know it? Deglazing. Deglazing the pan. But it really is the secret for just getting all kinds of flavor in there. And now I'm going to add my favorite bouillon cubes. If any of you have my new cookbook, I have a recipe in there for some homemade bouillon. But in a pinch, this store-bought brand it's quite good. You could use the premixed, the liquid kind, but I really prefer the cubes better, or much more, because you can adjust the flavor if you want to. With the liquid, it's just, that's how it is. And I haven't found that they really have a lot of great flavor in them. I've tried a lot of those liquid vegetable broth or whatever. So I recommend the bouillon cubes. Make your own or try this brand. This brand you can find, someone was asking about finding the brand. It's called, well, it's Edward and Sons, not chicken. It's available at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Amazon, a few different places that I know of. Okay. I'm going to add my spices. Going to add some regular chili powder and some ancho chili powder. California chili powder, yeah. I consider that regular chili powder for whatever reason. It's ground California chili pepper. No, not mildly spicy. And then the ancho chili, you can see by the color difference. This one is much richer. The ancho chili sort of has a smokiness to it. But I did cut my recipe in half, so I'm going to do half the spices. Yeah, both of these chili powders are fairly mild, so I'm not adding extreme heat if you're someone that does not enjoy spice. A little bit of just regular black pepper. And by the way, spice is good for us. If you're not used to eating spicy food, maybe teach yourself to like it. Chili peppers have capsaicin, and capsaicin's an ingredient in a lot of pain medications. It's a great anti-inflammatory and also opens up your blood vessels, good for blood flow. And spice is really a tolerance thing. If you taste something and think, oh, that's so spicy, if you just, a little bit here and there, your body will adapt and learn to like it. Just keep trying. All right, so I'm gonna add some crushed tomatoes and some green chilies. Crushed tomatoes are such a great thing to have in the pantry for any kind of soups, sauces. You can use the diced tomatoes in juice, but I love the consistency of the crushed tomatoes. And they're pretty easy to find now. Okay, what else is in this recipe? We've got spices, bouillon, we've got green chilies, and green chilies are mild. So again, if you're afraid of spice, don't worry too much about the green chilies. They're quite mild. And yeah, we're about ready for the beans. So someone always asks me if they can substitute whole beans, but the refried beans are what thicken this soup and make it nice and creamy. So I don't recommend subbing out for a can of whole beans. Yes, canned green chilies, they come in a tiny little can, and the full recipe calls for the whole can. But I took them out of the can and put them in a container ahead of time because I was just using the half. Sure. So these refried beans, and read your labels, make sure you're comfortable with what the ingredients are. This Trader Joe's refried beans, the ingredients are cooked beans, water, and salt. So pretty good with that. As a vegan, I want to make sure there's no lard in there. A lot of beans, that's sort of standard in refried beans. But if you're looking for something animal product free, make sure you read the label and check for lard. So when these go in there, they look like they're never going to break up, but they will, I promise. I'm going to take a whisk now, though. And see how easy this is? We're almost done. I think a lot of people think homemade soup is too much work, but hope I can inspire you to try some soup recipes this winter. Really doesn't have to be too much fuss. Sure. Yes. Well, you'd have the same flavors if you used whole beans, but for my opinion, the beauty of the soup is that it's very creamy and thick, which is great on a cool day. Yeah. So sometimes. That's why I was encouraging you to read labels and make sure you're happy with what's in that particular can. But yeah, I mean, traditionally, yes, you'd have some lard in a pan, add your beans, and smash. Right, right, right. And there are many refried beans like this one that does not have oil in it, and another reason I like this. Okay, the last of my bean chunks have broken up. I'm just going to let that warm a little bit more. I'm going to turn it down. And now comes the fun part. Get ready for some toppings. So I have some tomato, I have some cilantro, I have a fresh jalapeno, I have some diced green onion. So we're going to make this look pretty. Okay, just going to dice some tomato. These are Trader Joe's sells these great Italian tomatoes, and they're really nice and rich and dense. They don't have a ton of water in them, so I love using them in recipes because they don't make things watery. Okay, one more. Okay, a little cilantro. I was thinking that some fresh or some frozen corn kernels would look really pretty on top as well, but didn't bring any, just a thought. So with the herbs, I know some people will go through and take every leaf off of every stem and discard the stems, but if you know me, I'm not a fussy cook. And the stems have the same nutrients that the leaves do, so why discard them? They're good for you, they taste good, and that's just too much work to go through and take all the leaves off. So I'm just gonna give it a rough chop. There we go. Okay. So this should be nice and warm. Does it smell good? Can you smell it? Okay, good. Okay, let's see if I dare do this. Ah, that's gonna work out. If you like soup thinner, like she said, you can add whole beans and keep it to a thinner broth. You could even add a little more water, just adjust your seasonings. But absolutely, or smash them with a fork in a pan or a potato masher. Yeah, homemade beans are great if you have the time. So I'm going to put some corn chips on here. Can't have too many corn chips, right? And then we need some color. So, you know what? I'm going to do a little blob of sour cream first before I add the cilantro. Just a couple of blobs here, maybe. Okay, never do two. It's either 3 or 5, right? That's right. There we go. All right, so let's give it the color now. Plenty of cilantro. And some beautiful red tomato. And then one more thing. No, you cannot run away with the bowl. The library staff, this is their lunch, so they'd be very sad, I'm sure. So yes, as TJ mentioned, I take groups of people to Japan that love food, love travel, love exploring, learning new cultures. And one of the things we do is we go to Kappabashi Kitchen Street, which is an entire street with everything kitchen you can imagine, from homemade knife stores to every gadget out there. So this little baby mandolin was really calling my name, and it came home with me. And the cool thing about it, it slices both ways. So it's perfect for something little like this. Isn't that awesome? Yes, mandolins can be dangerous. Just be very careful and you'll be fine. So I'm just going to put a few of these on top so they're easy to see if anybody needs to avoid them. But there we go. Holy soup. Thank you. And I hope David's here today, the person that named it. Sure. Yes, I'm always trying new ones, trying to find something that tastes good. There's follow your heart is okay. This one is probably my favorite. It's Tofutti brand sour cream. It doesn't taste like tofu, if you're wondering. I really like, this is probably my favorite brand of it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to change gears, and I'm running out of room already. How is that possible? Kind of hungry. I'm tempted to grab that spoon and test the soup. So why am I not cleaning up my mess? I'm actually going to use these items in just a little bit, so I'm not sloppy. I'm coming back for that. Okay, I brought my trusty Vitamix today. I confessed on the recipe sheet that I am a blender snob. I freely admit that. I have never tried anything out there that comes close to being as good as a Vitamix. And I always used the nice ones in the restaurants I worked in. And then when I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore and I was going to focus on teaching and writing cookbooks, I had to buy my own Vitamix for the first time and had a little sticker shock. They're really expensive, but like I said, there's nothing out there like them. So my husband actually found this one for me on eBay. Used many years ago, but it was $200 on eBay used. And it works great. It's a workhorse. If anything ever does go wrong, they're pretty easy to find the parts for. Anyway, there's my plug. I'm not sponsored by Vitamix. I just really like the product. So we're going to go to the queso sauce or cheese sauce recipe. And I wanted to share this recipe with you because you can do so many different things with it. You could make enchiladas. You can use it as a dip with tortilla chips. You can use it in place of cheese in a taco, burrito, quesadilla. So a lot of uses for it. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to use it today, but we'll just start with the basic recipe. So the star of the show are cashews. These are raw, unsalted cashews. And if you do head out to buy cashews to make one of these recipes that I give you with cashews, make sure you look for the cashew pieces. It's a fraction of the price of the whole ones. The ones that come out whole and intact and beautiful, they save those for the nut mixes and the things where they want them whole. These are all the ones that broke when they tried to process them, and so they're a lot less expensive. If you don't have a high-powered blender, I do recommend soaking your cashews in boiling water for about 30 minutes or so. The cashews will soften and it'll give you a much creamier consistency. If you have the Vitamix, you can skip that step. Oh, these are those bags that just don't want to reseal. There we go. Yes, someone was asking about the Vitamix model. I don't know. This one is so old that I don't know if they make it anymore, but yes. I know there's even a Vitamix that works with Bluetooth now that's programmable, which, yeah, so I don't know how to advise you in that regard, but this is just a basic model. And they come with a short picture and then this full-size one. I do like the full-size one because when you turn it on, it kind of jumps up. And if you have the shorter one, those overflow all the time. Just a thought. So I'm going to use a can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. Green chilies, again, just like in the soup, so they're mild. If you don't want your queso to be spicy, then this is still fine to have. I'll tell you when we get a little later on if you want to avoid some of the spices, keep it mild. So what you want to do whenever you're blending the nuts for a sauce is you want to make sure the nuts are completely covered with your liquid for it to blend correctly. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But the first thing I'm going to do is take this can. When I opened it, I left the lid on top. And I'm just going to squeeze this liquid in here. And if you want I'm going to make a chunky queso. If you want it to be smooth, you can just dump the whole thing in right away. But what I'm going to do is reserve these tomato and green chili pieces for stirring in at the last minute so that I have a chunky sauce. Okay, so I'm looking at my mixture, not anywhere close to covering my cashews, so I'm going to grab some plant milk. The one I'm using, you can use whatever you like, any kind of milk will do, but I'm using Trader Joe's almond cashew macadamia beverage. I like it because it's really low in calories. A cup only has 30 calories. So I'm just going to pour it in there. I think I gave you a quantity in the recipe, but what I'm looking for is I just want to totally cover my cashews. There we go. And now, two different kinds of acid. I'm going to use lemon juice, and I'm going to use unfiltered apple cider vinegar. So when you're trying to replicate the flavors of cheese, you generally need two things. Some kind of acid. In this case, I'm using two different ones. And then this magic stuff, nutritional yeast. These two things combine to make a cheesy flavor. So what did I say? 2 tablespoons of lemon. Yes. Yeah. I also happen to love this Sicilian, 100% Sicilian lemon juice from, guess where, Trader Joe's. It has a really nice flavor, and the bottle size is just right. I put it in my morning matcha every morning. I just love it. So convenience plus, I really like the product. Yeah? Yes. So my morning go-to drink, and I didn't make this one. You'll notice the logo on the cup. But matcha, green tea, and lemon juice. And then I got fancy today. I had them put lavender syrup in there. It's quite good. But yeah, I love matcha. I'm not a coffee drinker, So I start every day with matcha. So I usually make it at home, but not always. Okay, here comes our apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to put a chunk of roasted bell pepper in there. And don't worry too much about what the right size is. All of these pieces in here are irregular, and nothing has to be exact. So I'll take this one. Oops. Yeah, and these are completely mild, no spice here. They're just roasted red bell peppers. And what else do we have in there? Let's put a little bit of salt. Gonna use some sea salt. When I cook, I don't measure at home, so I'm trying to be good and follow the directions that I came up with. Okay, 3/4 of a teaspoon of sea salt. And some cumin, which is here. It always smells like dirty socks to me. Let's see. There's a half, and there's another half. And we also want garlic and onion. So you might notice I'm not using fresh garlic in this one. I'm using the dried garlic granules. And the reason for that is when you make like a salad dressing or a sauce, it will shorten the shelf life if you use fresh garlic. Fresh garlic actually spoils fairly quickly. So I use the dried in these type of recipes just so I don't have to worry about it spoiling so quickly. Yes, yeah, it's fine to use that. Yeah, but a lot of times, like homemade salad dressing or something, instead of putting fresh in, I'll use the dried. That way it really will last much longer. All right, so there was our onion, our garlic, and I'm gonna put a little bit of dried diced onion in here too. Fresh, I wouldn't keep it more than about 3 days. Yeah, does not last very long. And then my chili powder again. Where is it? Is it right in front of me? Ah, yep, sure enough. Sorry. Little chili powder. And then this is something I really like, another Trader Joe's product, but it's smoked paprika. Comes in this fun can, but adds a little bit of smokiness. And then I want a bunch of nutritional yeast. Well, it's packed with vitamins and minerals for one, and two, when combined with the acids that I'm using, the cider vinegar and the lemon juice, together they create a cheesy flavor. So there's that. So I'm going to skip the cayenne, and I'm just going to put a little bit of bottled hot sauce. You could use Tabasco or something similar, whatever you have. Why didn't I use it? Because I forgot it. Don't tell anybody. Someone had to blow my my cover there. Yep. Yeah, I had everything set up earlier, and it's like, okay, there's no cayenne. All right. All right, I think I have everything else in there. So here we go. I'm just double checking the liquid level. And this is really loud, so here we go. And that's it. It's so easy and tasty. I'm gonna, instead of trying to stir it in the blender, I'm gonna add my tomato and green chili pieces that I reserved to the bowl, and then just stir it this way. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a, I mean, there's nothing to the order that's going to ruin or change anything. You can do it in any order that you want. All right, so it looks like queso, right? Sort of orangey. Yes. So it tastes great warm as a dip. So heat up a bowl of it, arrange it on a platter with some tortilla chips, put some pretty, maybe a little sprinkle of cilantro or jalapeno or something to give it a little color on the top. Delicious. Or I know a lot of people that are trying to eat less dairy, they tell me they have a really hard time giving up cheese. So this is a recipe that I hope will help those people, because this would be a great replacement for cheese in any kind of Mexican food, in a burrito or taco or whatever. So there it is, chunky. And again, if you don't want it chunky like this, you can just blend those tomatoes and green chilies with everything else. So we're going to actually use this in a couple of recipes. I need to make some room. There we go. No, well, it will a little bit, but not a lot. It really tastes, well, I think it tastes good at, I might be a little biased, but good at room temperature as well as warm. So you can just set it out, let it come to room temperature and serve it that way, or heat it up. I'm going to say maybe 6-7 days. If you want to make the next recipe and you don't feel like pulling the blender out, when I was experimenting with the next recipe, it always takes me 3 or 4 times when I'm making up a recipe to get it so I'm happy with it. So I just bought a jar of a store-bought plant-based queso dip. This one's from Primal Kitchen, and I have to say it was really good, really good. So this one, let's see, So it's made with carrot puree and pumpkin seed puree. Interesting. Does not taste like pumpkin at all. And then a lot of the other ingredients, the seasonings, are similar to what I've used here. Mm-hmm. There is some avocado oil, but it does not look like a lot. Yeah, 2 tablespoons is only 35 calories, which tells me there's not a lot of oil in it, because oil is so high in calories. But yeah, if you don't feel like making it, I think this is great. I'll leave it out here if anybody wants to check it out later. I bought the store-bought queso at Sprouts. I do know the brand, though. I have seen the brand in other stores. Whether or not they have that specific one, I'm not sure. But it's a Primal Kitchen. I think I've even seen that brand at Costco. Let's see. Nice if I had a whole crew that would come and just whisk everything away, and there wouldn't be a big gap. Thank you for your patience. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to make is a crunch wrap. And it's a copycat recipe from a fast food restaurant. I have never had one from there. I just had to make this from watching them make it. But for those of you that have had the real thing, I hope my copycat recipe does it justice. So the recipe I'm copying has ground beef in it. I'm choosing to make this recipe with Impossible meat that I've seasoned with taco seasoning. There are many other options. You could use beef if you're not a vegan. Something I really like is TVP. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but I love this because it's shelf stable, it's dried, and a little goes a long way. So you just hydrate whatever you want in some hot water and seasonings, and it's basically ready after that. So, and it's really good for you. It's just, it's got one ingredient in it. I mean, it's nothing you can complain about there. But it's a great option if you don't want to use Impossible or Beyond or regular beef. You can use refried beans, but On their own, they don't really have enough flavor. If you do make this with beans, I recommend seasoning them a bit with some onion and garlic and chili powder just to give them a little zest. Okay, so I have all kinds of tortillas here. I have actually tostada shells, so crispy corn shells. I have miniature flour tortillas, and then I have giant flour tortillas. Wow. So I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways to make this copycat crunch wrap. And the first way is the most fun, but the most involved. So if it's too much, I'm going to show you an easier way to make it after. So I'm going to start off with one of the giant flour tortillas. And I'll just put that there. I actually want to chop some lettuce. Bear with me. So this is just some crispy romaine lettuce. I'm using romaine. Iceberg would work well too, but you want a sturdier lettuce. You don't want like a delicate leaf lettuce. The lettuce will get a little bit warm when you cook it, and these lettuces are hardier and they're not going to disintegrate on you. Okay, so lettuce, tomato. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is put some of my beef substitute in the middle. And I'm going to put just a solid, thin, but even layer right in the middle. And the size I'm going for is about the size of my tostada shell. Has anybody ever had one of these the real thing? No? Nobody? Okay. All right, well, I hope you'll be inspired to try it. It's kind of a fun combination of things. Okay, next up is a little of my queso sauce. There we go. And now I'm going to take a tostada shell. It's like a flat taco shell. And I'm going to spread some of the sour cream on it. Generous amount. And I'm going to put that right over my first 2 layers. And then I'm going to add a little bit of tomato and lettuce here. And now that gets covered up with one of these little guys. And the reason is because it will keep your thing from leaking. Where am I going to set this? Okay. So, do I have everything in there? I think I do. So now what I'm going to do is fold the edges up using a sort of a pleat technique. With the tortillas, they're fresh and they're at room temperature. They are soft enough to do this without breaking. If you have older tortillas, you might want to warm them a bit first so that they don't break on you. But there we go. This is an uncooked crunch, what are they called? Crunch wrap, thank you. So I'm gonna make a couple, but while I don't want it to unfold, so I'm gonna put it pleat side down. So we'll just make another one quickly here. You know what I'm gonna do is actually get this one going. And I discovered that these cook beautifully in an air fryer. So I've got a little bit of avocado oil spray, and I just lightly misted the top of it. And so this is my air fryer's debut here. It's never been here before. It's it's a Ninja Crispy is what it's called. So yeah, I'm afraid of Teflon, so I always put a barrier in between my food and Teflon. I put off getting an air fryer for a long time because most of them are made with plastic, but this one is mostly glass, but it does have a little rack in there that lifts your food up and keeps it from being on the bottom that is coated with Teflon. So I put a little piece of parchment paper in there to rest the food on. So we'll just let that go, and I was really pleased with how they turned out. I put it on air fry, and it presets at 10 minutes, and we're gonna let it do 10 minutes. If anybody notices that it's burning, let me know. No, that's the nice thing. With it being lifted up off the bottom like that, the hot air gets underneath it as well. So yeah, it's just ready to go as soon as it's done. Don't have to flip it. Well, I don't know. It's just oh, okay. There's a little guide here. What do you know? Air fry says 400 to 425. Never noticed that before. Thank you for helping me learn. Do they have the blocks of butter? Oh. No. Yeah, if you were here last month, I was upset because Trader Joe's had stopped carrying a block of plant-based butter that I really liked. Yeah, there's several brands there. It's actually made in Germany and made with fava beans, so it's kind of interesting, but it had a great flavor. Yeah, in the pan. I'll do this one in the pan. Yeah, the air fryer, really happy with it. The one package, you get 2 different sizes of air fryer. You get one that's a little smaller, and then the lid adapts to fit, either size. Yeah, you get two in one. I used about 3/4 of a package. The taco seasoning is for 16 ounces, the standard little seasoning packets, and the Impossible meat, I think it's like a 10 or a 12 ounce package. It's not quite as big, so. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't use that. Well, yeah, you could. Just don't add a ton and then taste it. Just add it bit by bit and taste it to make sure. Because I noticed this doesn't have any sodium in it, but it doesn't need much, in my opinion. So it would be easy to get too much salt in there, I think. Are we doing okay there? Yep. Okay. Everybody okay with this pleating step? It's pretty easy. The main thing is just have fresh tortillas and don't refrigerate them. All right, I will get this one going and then I'll show you one more way to make it. Let's see. This way requires more oil than just a little mist. All right, I'm gonna let that heat up. Rest this pleat side down. So there is an easier way. I don't know if it's easier, but I need a nice round one though. Let's see. The large tortillas, these particular ones are from Albertsons. Yeah, they're nice and big. If you just have the large and you don't have the minis are from Trader Joe's. You can use your large ones, use your tostada shell as a stencil, and you can cut some to size. So this way, I'm gonna take my knife and put the tip in the center of the tortilla and cut down like so. Get this guy going. And I am going to start off with the sour cream. And I have a method to my madness here. I'm going to put the things that you put, I'm going to divide the tortilla in my mind into quadrants. So the first two triangles, I'm going to use the things that I don't want to get as hot. When it's folded up and cooked, this will actually be the center of it, these first two quadrants. So this is where I'll do, let's see, I'll do lettuce and tomato here. And I'm going to fold that up. And next I'm going to use this. This is kind of fun too, right? Check on this. Oop. There we go, still cooking. And here we go, one more fold. And then my last one, I'm going to put some of the queso. And who knows what goes on top of the queso? The crunch, yes. I'll actually use these. So if I don't have tostada shells at home, this will do, these will do. Thank you. I'm glad somebody's paying attention. Oh, that's okay. I'd rather be safe than sorry, believe me. Okay, so this is another way to make a crunch wrap. Getting there, not quite. I could. Yeah, this is going to be done soon, so why not? Let's air fry the second one too. I do freeze tortillas quite often. I can't seem to keep enough of those tiny little ones in my house, and so I usually buy several packs at a time and throw some in the freezer. They freeze great. One thing I recommend though is before you open a pack of tortillas, you want to do this. It'll separate all of them, and if you do that before you freeze them, they'll separate more easily as they're thawing too. Okay. I don't want to put that hot lid on the tablecloth, so. Very close. So it's nice and crispy. And I'm going to swap these guys. Perfect. You could do both. I was happy with the results just doing one side, so yeah, whatever you prefer. Or you don't even have to do it at all. I would just make them, one of these two ways, and you just don't want to cover them so that they'll get soft. But then I cut them. So let me cut this first one and show you the inside. Yeah, you can cut them into halves or quarters if you're serving. Hear the crunch? Does it show? Can you see it? Different angle? What do I need? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to cut these into quarters. So, this isn't award-winning cooking, but these are just kind of fun. They're delicious. I don't know. I hope you'll give them a try, but whichever way. So you have a couple of ways to cook them, and a couple of ways to make them too. Well, They're pretty hard to resist once they're cooked. So yeah, here's our pan-fried one. I suppose that you could reheat it in an air fryer. The oven would work. Yep. These have a nice crispiness to them, so if eat them while they're fresh, I think that's a great option. So while that one's cooking, I'm going to make one more item with our queso. Let's see. It's football season, right? Football parties, gatherings. Nachos are a popular snack. I'm using these organic corn chips from Trader Joe's because they're a lot thicker than regular ones and they're not going to get soggy very quickly. I'm just going to use some of our seasoned taco meat substitute. And honestly, I think if you tried the queso, I wish I had enough for all of you to try it. I think you would not miss the dairy in it. There are directions for it. Yeah. And I'm just going to take this cheese sauce. This is an instance where it would be nice to warm it up first. Sorry, library staff. But just drizzled on nachos. Nice snack or meal. And when I make nachos, I like to have lettuce and tomato on top. Is anybody going to try making a crunch wrap? Somebody say yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And I get very excited when I get photos of your masterpieces from home. I save all of them from day one. I have a file on my computer, people that have emailed me pictures of the recipes from class.
So I have a question about the lettuce. You took the lettuce out of a container. You had it wrapped in a paper, right? In some towel, and that kind of absorbs all the water, right?
Yeah, well, I washed it right before I came, and I didn't want there to be a bunch of water in here. I didn't want it to be too wet.
So do you do that in the refrigerator as well? Do you wrap your romaine lettuce and
Yeah,
lettuce in paper towel?
I do. Or sometimes I have a bunch of the kind that don't make any lint, like a linen type dishcloth.
Yeah.
I use those for wrapping produce that I've washed. I use it for wrapping tofu, trying to get the moisture out of tofu. Whoops, I just made a mess. But yeah, it really it will extend the life of it. Another tip with lettuce that's really important is if you're not going to use it all right away, like say you have a head of iceberg instead of the romaine, and maybe you're going to use half for dinner and then half is for later in the week, don't cut it in half. Break it in half, and that will dramatically increase the life of the half that you're storing. Yeah, physically break it. Yeah, what happens is you sever all of those little veins in there with the knife cut. You get an exact cut, and so it'll start to turn brown there. But when you rip lettuce, it doesn't rip straight. It's irregular, so it doesn't break all of those channels of water. So it's it will last longer. Trust me. Sure. And I got to use my fun little thing once more. Produce, someone asked how I keep my produce fresh. What I do is I have several fairly large storage containers, and excuse me a second. Are we okay there? I think we're okay. What I do is, there are a lot of things like, I try and eat a sweet potato every week, but never all in one sitting. So I'll wash my sweet potato, I'll cut a piece of it off, and then the rest goes in the refrigerator in this produce bin. And I'll have bell pepper pieces, cut onion, whatever in there, and I just kind of have this bin that starts each week. And then by the end of the week, I've used up everything in there and start fresh the next week. And that helps, and it's also a good reminder for me, like if I'm starting to make something and I open my little produce thing to see what I have ready to go, it's like, oh, that sweet potato's been there for 3 days. I need to figure out how to throw that into my meal or whatever. It's a good way to get me to get myself to eat all the different things I'm trying to eat every week. And it preserves it. I guess that was the point of the question, not what I'm eating. But it'll preserve them. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't they make the others taste the same? Like if I put onions and bell peppers, aren't they gonna?
They could, but I do that every single week, and I always have, and it's never been a problem. I mean, I wouldn't put fruit in there, but all the vegetables, because they tend to be things that all go together well anyway. There'll be cut carrots in there, cut celery. All right, so we've got some nachos for the staff today. Yeah. You didn't know you came today to watch me make lunch for staff? Oh. Oh, I believe you. So this one turned out pretty nice. I don't know if you guys can see that, but nice and crispy. Let's check the bottom of it to see. So it's not brown, but it's crisp. I could have flipped it, but I don't know if it's totally necessary. But 2 ways to make it. I'm going to cut this guy down the middle. So we've got 2 different shapes in here. And up was the right way? Is that right? There we go. So you could serve this, you could make it look a lot prettier than I did, but you could put some salsa, some guacamole, sour cream, or an extra thing of queso for people to dip in if you were serving this to friends. But yeah, I hope you're inspired to try some. How am I doing? Ooh, I'm on time. Okay. So, ooh, that's hot. I hope you're inspired to make some of these things. So a few lucky people can have their choice of some ingredients that are designed, well, except for the chocolate, that are designed to encourage you to try some of these recipes at home. For those of you that are new, I try to have door prizes every time. I hope that it's just another nudge to help inspire you to try a recipe at home. And where's our magic? So we have a new way. Oh, here we go. So if your recipe guide has one of those numbers, oh, good. Are you a winner? Oh, fantastic. So you're here first, you get first choice. Do you want refried beans, chocolate, tortillas, nutritional yeast? There you go.